COVID 2 years is just missing.
Just yesterday, yep, you're good.
Are you okay about it?
Yeah, I did, but it's nothing like the first time.
First time. What? Want to move seats, Jamie?
There you go.
We want to welcome everyone to the January 19th meeting of the Metroplex Board of Directors. Welcome, everyone. Our first item on our agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes of the December 8th meeting. Motion, please. Aaron, second. Thanks, Sharon. We got it. Being done, all those in favor?
Um, I'm going to 21. And, situation there. Budget. So, balance. Thousand. Is very good, financing. A lot of this, a lot of things, you know, financial supplementary information, that Bob Crystal provides us with.
Great. Motion to adopt the treasurer's report. Matt, further discussion? All those in favor of adopting the report, say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks. We go to 5 different agenda items tonight. The first one is townhomes at Union Square.
I think all of you are familiar with townhomes in Union Square at 07 Barrett Street. Chris Madelon is really one of the pioneers here downtown. We're starting market rate residential housing. That was one of his first projects. The Lofts project next door was right behind it. And as you know, we recently redeveloped and opened the Trusco building and is now working on the homes at Topaz Trail. Brighton Avenue. This project has been a little, because it's a small project with 8 units of housing. What we're proposing is to extend the pilot for 10 years. Really help with some of the hardships due to the COVID pandemic, some of the uncertainty with not collecting rents from some of the tenants, but also to give some stability because of the size of the project. Small, which would we would fix the pilot at $16,000 a year with an increase of 2% a year over the term of the pilot.
I have a motion on this. Karen, second by Brad. I want to thank Chris Madelon. He did this project. The bank said, what are the comps for housing in downtown? Been any built downtown decades. Thank you a school conversion up near Bishop Gibbons, Notre Dame Bishop Gibbons, that, operate them. There literally were no housing comps. in the city proper, especially downtown. Look how far we've come. Chris is, any other, it's the new, let's go ahead, it's just fantastic. Trail, it's a construction. We're doubling his pilot here, doing a 2% increase. As Jamie said, we're giving him a little support because he's had a number of just refused to pay. Situation where they're.
So absent the pandemic, obviously, training or.
No, it's just,
I mean, in other words, they did work.
yeah, oh, absolutely. It's just that, you know, I mean, three tenants that just haven't paid and, you know, recourse for landlords until this last week when, you know, ban was in place. So he's, you know, had some financial shit from this problem. Comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of adopting resolution 1515-22, say aye. Opposed? Great. Next, we're going to Morris Harbor with a new attraction that we're building there, some docks, and what else can we summarize?
This project that's going to recipient of some state money through the CFA program. This is the design phase of the project. After a little bit of a slow start, ready to go with this. City of Schenectady has procured MJ Engineering to help with the design of the public docks that would be put in place, platform system, gangway. I think the render showed pretty well what we're trying to accomplish here. Metroplex would put in $75,000. We would match $155,000 state. City's performing the work with the Gillespie Group, of course, with the Mohawk Harbor project. So there's some work that needs to be done on the side, the electrical engineering, some waterfront engineering, the soil testing that needs to happen. But all that's going to lead to this $1.4 million investment that will apply much larger boats and obviously creates great access off the river to Harbor Jam series, other things that are at the harbor. So small investment with a kind of big payout on that.
Have a motion on this?
Move it.
Oh, thank you, Sharon. Seconded by Karen. Again, I was trying to keep us completely out of this because we were able to win a $0.4 million state grant. Thank the Gillespie Group for putting in a $300,000 match. They covered the city's match on the state grant, which is amazing. And it's a public dock. Bring visitors to the community there. But it's also an asset, a recreational asset for city residents to go out and fish and reconnect Schenectady to the harbor. The city's been a great partner in this. Our grant writer, Sue Lombardi, has done a great job. Basically, the design bids came in higher. So there was a gap of 75, but our 75,000 here leverages a total $2 million worth of, as we call it, other people's money and get a nice new asset built for the community.
This is the original.
That? Yes. And then right before COVID, we had several big cruise boats that go through the canal up to the Great Lakes. They call them loopers. I'm not a boater, but there are folks who do a circuit, you know. So there are more and more of those activities that on the canal. So the idea is to bring pleasure boats, these touring boats in, tie up the hotel for a day or two, go to the casino, and that kind of thing. But also it's a resource. That's the key point. Is it's should get on the wall. Any other comments or questions? We thank the city, our grant writer Sue Lombardi, the Gillespie Group for their help. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up, we go to resolution 1517. We'll ask Jamie to give us a.
This is called for a Metroplex pilot for the General Electric Company for their City of Schenectady property. The IDA pilot is expiring at the end of February. What we want to do is create some tax stability and certainty, both for GE as well as for the city, the school district, the county, by maintaining the pilot at $65 million. That's value of the property. So it would continue for another 10 years. GE is the third highest paying taxpayer in Schenectady County. This is based on a full value assessment. Again, I think for purposes of stability, sports for all parties.
Motion on this. Sharon, second. Bob, thank you. Sharon was at City Hall when we negotiated this initial agreement. GE pays $7 million in property taxes on their downtown campus. The downtown campus is split between the city and Rotterdam. This community and GE used to fight each other in court, cost millions of dollars in legal fees for both sides. It engendered bad feelings. It created a culture of non-investment by GE. And it was one of the dumbest things Schenectady did. And to continuously fight with, and Rotterdam, with its major employer. Our economic team came in 2004. We were convinced and dedicated to resolving that situation, bringing a positive relationship with GE. He has invested a lot of money down there. This is not really, we call it a full value prop. They're paying full taxes on the full assessed value. But we lock it in and we don't report every other year, spend millions. In the old days, I grew up in Schenectady, just to make sure they won the most recent court case, they would knock down 10 buildings. That was the status quo in Schenectady. So they would always win because they would just take the wrecking ball to more structures. It was ludicrous. Stopped when we had great leadership and people like Sharon who stepped in, Steve Thomas in Rotterdam, Mayor Stratton, Mayor McCarthy. We've talked to the mayor about this. He's in full agreement. This just gets us to, it keeps us at, they pay full taxes. They pay a lot of taxes downtown. They pay $7 million in this unit, and they pay $7 million downtown. That's an extraordinary amount. You don't want to turn back the clock and go back to days when we were in court every other downward spiral.
Ray, you remember when they put Black Shack on?
Yeah. That was the other thing that was ludicrous, that the mayor, whose name we won't mention, when they lost one of these lawsuits in a fit of anger, took a monument to the workers at GE that was at City Hall and put it in the city garage. We proudly reinstalled that marker, remains at City Hall. So, it was a good move. It was a good agreement. Pleased to bring it back tonight. GE is, they're never happy. I mean, no one's happy with these agreements, right? I mean, the city probably thinks they can get a little more. GE thinks it should be a little less or a lot less, It's a way of moving forward together to continue so the school district and the city and the county know what they. And it would never happen without Sharon's leadership initially at City Hall, so we thank Sharon. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, we go to our very successful project on South Church, and we ask Steve to give us an update.
Right, this is my favorite project of 2021, which is fixing a South Church Street and the adjoining parking lots. You'll remember that we set this up, structured as two separate projects, street and the parking lot that Schenectady uses. But we have one contractor, Harbor Construction, working on both jobs. Everything is nearly done, but we're bringing this in because of a series of change orders that resulted on the street project, not on the parking lot project, which is within budget. So we're looking for an increase of the budget by $95,000 for certain unanticipated expenses. I've identified several of them. Of course, we found a tank in the ground. That's not a big surprise. Making connection to Cowhorn Creek. knows that Coward Creek gears have run everywhere in Schenectady. But it was integral to the stormwater system for the project. And then we've had trouble and issues with streetlights getting delivered in a timely manner. They still haven't arrived, but they will be here shortly, and we'll get the streetlights up both in the street and the parking lot. So, it's been a bit of a game changer of a project down there, which is general cleanup and removal of a lot of the overhead lines. Parking lots are being used, really supports the economic development that's going on Lower State Street. So we're looking to increase the budget by $95,000. And this is the cost sharing program. Reimbursing half. Cities reimbursing half.
Motion on this? Brad, seconded by Karen. I want to thank our team, Jamie, David, Jennifer. Great job. David got the bus station down. We're getting a lot of positive feedback on this. So I'm pleased to report we had a major movie studio in yesterday looking at the Armory, household name. We're at the Armory looking out at that portion of downtown. What a difference. The bus station's down. Lot behind. BT's mill project is cleaned up. The street looks great. It's just a completely different landscape. This is a great project. Jamie and Jennifer and David pulled it off. This is a slight cost adjustment to the unforeseen conditions, these fuel tanks and other things. But did a great job, so we're really pleased to move this forward. Any questions or comments on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Great. Next item is talking about our parking budget.
Right, we've provided you with the parking budget for 2022. It's $1,114,000 budget. It's been the shrinking parking budget for the last couple of years. The write-up explains some of the activities that are still going on. We believe we've been able to stabilize the system, but we're still at about 60% of pre-pandemic. The budget represents a slight increase in overall spending. The system isn't growing much, but it is dependent on Proctor's coming back in with more shows. Obviously, they're starting up and doing more. People going back to work again, back to the office. State employees still haven't returned to most of the offices here in downtown Schenectady. Those things will change, I think, change the prospects for the program. So, and we also are taking a look at 2 parking lot reconstruction projects for the year. Back to you in another time. Any questions about the budget? This went through a long discussion about parking. Answer the questions.
A motion on this? Brad, second by Karen.
I move.
Thanks, Sharon. Great job. We're still slowly rebuilding this system as people come back downtown, and we thank the folks at Lattice. We're looking forward to a busier 22 as far as Proctor's goes and the downtown attractions that the system as well as we could. And I appreciate Jamie's hard work. Jennifer and everybody else.
Yeah, I think the point down there, overflow of more than 10 years, because constantly gotten this question. So obviously we've made some pretty reasonable strides. It doesn't seem to have gotten the public. So plates that I hope, but that's actually fairly significant in terms of what we are subsidizing. Yeah, assume that if we Proctor's and they think they're going to be doing relatively more, assume that we pick up something.
That's right. I think that's exactly. I think it's a pretty conservative budget, but hopefully turn out to be. I mean, so much of this is uncertain. In COVID, you never expect that, but there's definitely an upside.
Any other comment on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great.
Thank you.
I don't see anybody from the public here, so we'll close the public comment period. I would like a motion to go in executive session to discuss several real estate developments that we're looking at. Let me give you a motion. Aaron, it's gonna have a second. Thank you, Kai.